Hello everybody, Justin coming at you, and we got a brand new article. Well, not quite brand new, but this is the most recent one I think that I want to actually comment on, and I'm going to be transitioning into other cases, and this is going to be sort of like a I don't know, kind of like sample into that? I don't know. I'm going to let you guys judge this for yourself, but we got a new article here, and we're going to check this one out right now. So in this one, we have from TMZ exclusive, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, remorse will hit Mackenzie Shirilla like a train. So basically, this is Gypsy's little hot take on Mackenzie. So a little bit of hypocrisy in this, but I'm going to let you guys draw your own conclusions. We're going to read this one together. So it starts out right here at the bottom. Gypsy Rose Blanchard says, Mackenzie Shirilla has a lot of maturing to do behind bars before she feels remorse for the fatal car crash that unalived her boyfriend and a friend. And when that day comes, it's going to hit her like a freight train or like a car crashing into a building at 100 miles per hour. I don't know. That's what I would have said. But anyways, moving on. Based on what she's seen in the Netflix doc, The Crash, Gypsy thinks Mackenzie is not remorseful in the slightest, and it's going to take a lot of reflection, hard work, and growing up. Again, a lot of hypocrisy in this, and I could say this about every sentence, but just remember it now. I'm going to say it just once, but you know what I mean? There's a lot of irony and hypocrisy in this, considering who it's coming from. Gypsy says remorse will actually be a key to Mackenzie's potential freedom. I'm not sure about that, because what I'm seeing, I believe Mackenzie has over 35, at least that's the most recent documentation we have, 35 written and documented prison infractions, and they're quite interesting if you want to take a look at what they are. They're available to research. I don't think I've seen a lot of parole hearings where if they have even one or two infractions on there, they're denied parole like automatically. Imagine how many this thing up here is going to, Mackenzie is going to rack up by the time 15 years is up. She's been in there, a whole 3 years, and she's racked up over 35, and they're not exactly small infractions either. A few of them are, but a lot of them are, again, it's I can't believe there's people actually on Facebook actually defending this person, because it's insanity to me. You know what I mean? The evidence was very clear. They took several months. As soon as this whole documentary came out with the crash, and I knew about this case when it was actually happening, but as soon as it's on Netflix, everyone who wants to defend this woman or girl, little girl, whatever, she reminds me of the Cash Me Outside girl. You know what I mean? Just minus the whole schmurder part. She reminds me of Bad Baby. At the end of the day, same little attitude, same whatever. But it's everyone that wants to defend Mackenzie suddenly is an auto mechanic, they're a Toyota specialist, and they're also a medical specialist as well. They got degrees in both. All of a sudden, they swear it's something medically related. I think POTS is one of the new claims. If anyone knows what POTS is, I'm pretty sure a lot of people do. And then also, everyone's claiming that something had to happen with the car. But again, we have that black box. Again, if anyone didn't live under a rock and they actually watched this trial, all of that stuff was long debunked and long explained in that trial. I don't know why they're coming out of the woodwork so adamant about oh my God, she's an innocent woman. She couldn't have done this. It doesn't make any sense. It's just well, it kind of does, considering the raging narcissism and also the previous threats of her specifically crashing the car with her boyfriend in it via a text message. So it's kind of strange that something that she threatened specifically ended up happening. But again, these people want to cry innocence for her for whatever reason. And all I have to say about it, it's mostly men that I think are defending her that I've seen. But that just leads me to, hey, a simp is born every minute. But let's see what else it says. Gypsy says remorse will actually be a key. Okay, she says Mackenzie has got to get to that point if she ever wants to get out on parole. Again, funny coming from her, but remorse or no remorse, those jail infractions and those documented infractions of her not being a model prisoner, especially just in 3 years into her sentence, not even a fifth into it before she's even eligible for parole, I think she should have been no parole eligibility whatsoever. This is 2 people that she unalived. It's amazing that she didn't get consecutive sentencing or something more harsh. So she should kiss the ground. But again, just like that judge said, the likelihood of her getting out of prison is very, very slim. Mackenzie was convicted of unaliving Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan. I would like to recommend Christine Russo's podcast, by the way, or YouTube channel. It's called The Big Sister Unhinged. She's been coming out, debunking a lot of the claims that have been going around social media. It's absolutely disgusting what people are saying about her brother. People that don't even know who he is. So, you know what I mean? I'm glad she's coming out swinging and, standing up for her brother and for herself and for her family. I highly recommend, look it up, The Big Sister Unhinged. She's great. She says she's innocent and she's eligible to go before the parole board in Ohio in 2037. Not exactly anytime soon. But Gypsy sees a lot of hurdles, especially with the victims' families. Okay, well, once again, I'm not going to mention hypocrisy in every sentence, even though I have so far. But you know what I mean? Like, just, again, considering the source, this is sort of hilarious reading this, even though I'm agreeing with it. So, again, it's like if it wasn't Gypsy making, these statements, I would be aligning with this. But I do align with this. It's just, considering the source, it's like, she's got some reflection to do on her own acts of remorse, but again, I think Gypsy doesn't feel like she has to do any of that because she's out of prison, and as far as she knows, she can act however she wants because it's not like they're going to put her back in prison for the same thing. So Gypsy knows her stuff. She was released on parole in December 2023 after serving over 8 years of her 10-year sentence for her part in Dee Dee Blanchard's unaliving, and she kept her schnoz clean, and is now done with parole supervision. Okay, that's wonderful. Anyway, moving on. Charlie also asked Gypsy about Dominic's sister pushing to change laws so convicted criminals can't profit off their crimes. Well, that is something called the Son of Sam law, but for some reason in several states it's not applicable or it doesn't apply there. I think that should be a federal thing. I don't know why, like, some states allow you to do this. This is kind of one of my biggest qualms with Gypsy, is the fact that she's grifting off of basically her crime. But that's how we know her. We don't know her because she's a fashion designer or a singer or she's talented. We know her because she's a smurderer. I have a big problem with that when you're making profit and you're able to get clout and followers and donations and money and monetization off of something that you're known for. That is absolutely heinous. So, I do believe that, laws should be changed. And, I think she should be retroactive as well. So that way it applies to Gypsy. So I would love to see that kind of change happen federally. I would like to see that nobody in any state should be able to profit off of the most heinous thing they've ever done in their life, whether it's from behind bars, outside bars. I don't care where it is. Anyone that's grifting off of the most disgusting thing they've done in their entire life should not be able to be allowed to do so. But anyways, moving on. So, can't profit off their crimes. Christina Russo, once again, claims Mackenzie is doing just that, and that she is. But Gypsy tells us why it's not so cut and dry. Okay, let's see what Gypsy has to say about that. Check out the clip. Lots of good insight from Gypsy there. Okay, if you want to go to TMZ and watch that, go check it out. It's, it's all right. It's just a trailer for The Crash, but I'm sure most people that are watching this video probably have seen The Crash, and if not, I recommend doing so, but there's a lot more information that was left out of Netflix. There's a rabbit hole you can go down for Mackenzie Shirilla if you want, and I encourage you to do so because there's a lot they left out. That was the end of the little article there, minus that little trailer. But this is one of the comments that I first saw when I was looking down at the bottom here for the people commenting on this. Okay, so this is pretty great from H0709PTH 24 days ago. Why are you platforming a convicted schmurderer who does nothing but profit from her crime? Gypsy Rose Blanchard talks a great game here, but she still has to take an accountability for schmurdering her own mother. If you want to count accountability as her, that whole we listen and we don't judge thing, which she's done twice now, by the way. I don't think it's accountability. I think that's just her rage baiting her crowd, along with another woman that loves her own Dutch ovens. But anyways, besides that, but she still hasn't taken accountability for schmurdering her own mother. Exactly. So, and I'm glad TMZ is finally willing to come out and actually say that, because I've yet to see it. Nor has she shown any... Oh, wait, no, this is not TMZ. This is a comment. Sorry, forgive me. Nor has she shown any remorse. In fact, she joked about it on social media. I encourage anyone reading this article or comments to go read the FOIA documents. I always encourage that myself. So whoever left this is good stuff. Available for free to the public. These show that the narrative this woman has spun about being a victim is a complete and utter lie. I would love to give a slow clap right now, but I'm holding the phone in my hand, and I would drop it if I did so. So, applause with one hand. to the person who left this comment, because that's right on point. So what do you guys think about the Mackenzie Shirilla case so far? I think Mackenzie's case was pretty open and shut for me as soon as I saw most of the evidence that came in. I think, despite everything that's going around on social media right now, I encourage everybody, if anyone's interested in getting deeper into the Mackenzie Shirilla case, to go listen to the jail phone calls between her and her, mother, Natalie. It really explains how Mackenzie ended up the way she did. And not just her mom, but her father as well. It's like both of these parents are not even parents. It's evident to me that I think Mackenzie was running that household. And another thing that kind of intrigues me is that Mackenzie has a sister named Danielle, and she's never mentioned. You can't find her anywhere. There's not even a simple statement from her. I'm thinking, just like the Adelson family with Rob Adelson, if anyone knows that case. I think there's maybe just one member of that family that might have some sanity, and I'm hoping that that person is Danielle. Once again, I haven't heard anything from her, but just the notion and just the fact that she has not participated in any of this circus kind of tells me that, I think she's probably the sane one in that family. But what do you guys think about the Mackenzie Shirilla case? Do you want me to cover more of it? And on top of that, I would also like to mention that there's another new Netflix documentary called Maternal Instinct. That's the Taylor Parker case. She actually ended up getting the ultimate penalty in Texas, and it's one of the most horrific fetal baby kidnapping stealings I've ever seen, worse than Lisa Montgomery's, if you know who she is, by a landslide. But anyways, I'm going to probably do some coverage on that as well. But what do you think about Gypsy's little hypocrisy and comments about Mackenzie's case? I think that's like the pot calling the kettle black. Obviously, I'm pretty sure most of my audience agrees. But if you would like to hear more about the Mackenzie case, I have a lot of information on it. I have a lot of aspect on it. And once again, I encourage you to go to Christina Russo's YouTube page called The Big Sister Unhinged. But other than that, everybody, I'm glad to catch up with you guys. Let me know if you wanted me to cover any more of this case, and if you want to hear about the Taylor Parker case. I have a lot of information on that too. I'm going to actually post more regularly now, so I'm hoping to make a permanent comeback. So everybody, have a good rest of your week or day. It's Monday, so everybody have a great rest of your work week, and I'll see you soon.